What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It is a gorgeous day out today, and it's December. I mean, 70 degrees. Who would have thought? I kind of feel bad for the guys up north, you know, where it's snowing or extremely cold and not getting their bikes out.
Hi, Buick. I just had a winter.
But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about Harley going away with the Evo Sportster. In my opinion, it's a sad day, but I understand the reasoning, you know, and the Sportster's not for everybody. I mean, you could kind of say it's kind of that iconic bike of Harley because it's been in so many things, but it's really not their breadwinner, money maker. It's more that entry-level bike for them, and especially with them coming out with the newer ones. But I thought it'd be a good chance to get the Sportster out since we're talking about Sportsters. What's up, guys? Now that we're out on the Sportster, at which I thought it'd be a good idea since we're going to be talking about Sportsters. Well, with Harley going away with the Evo, I mean, the Evo has actually been their longest production engine. I mean, now, they got rid of the big Evos, you know, like the Softails, Touring, all that. The last one to come out was in 2000. But besides those, I mean, they've been still being put in Sportsters. All up until recently. You know, my opinion, the Evo is just that awesome engine. I mean, I'm not saying for speed, horsepower, none of that. Just reliability. I mean, you go thinking about the M8s. Kind of still has that technology. Single cam back in it. Now, the top end is different, but it's that single cam again. They went away with twin cam to the M8. There's got to be a reason, you know, they went back to like the Evo style. But I mean, I get it. I really do. Why? You know, I mean, you got to get rid of some bikes, you know. Definitely if they're not really making you money, but technically, I mean, Sportsters have always sold. I mean, you can kind of say it's that iconic bike of Harley. I mean, not their money maker, but iconic because of how many things the Sportster has been in. I mean, yeah, they came out with new Sportsters, but it's not that Evo engine. I mean, people used them for flat track, hill climbing, big dirt bikes. I mean, you name it. I mean, people even put Springer front ends on them, you know, make them bobbers. They just had so many options, and the list of parts for them is numerous. I mean, people turn them into mini baggers. I mean, Harley's had smaller bikes than the Sportster because you can get it in two different options, 883 and 1200. Now, they were never produced for that massive horsepower, massive torque bike, but you had options to get a good bit of horsepower and torque. I mean, you go through Harley, S&S, Hammer Performance. I mean, you drop a Hammer Performance kit in, like this one right here, you're looking at anywhere from right around 90 all the way up to 120. And that all depended on how much money you wanted to spend, though, but you could do it. Now, really, getting up there at 120 horsepower on the Evo, though, you're getting out of the reliability of a daily rider. I'm not saying you couldn't ride it but it wasn't something you really wanted to just travel on or go long distance. You were getting the compression up there a lot higher. But now that they come out with the Sportster S, I mean, the sucker is pushing 120 horsepower right off the factory line. That's a lot. Now, the Sportster has never really been everybody's go-to bike, you know, especially if you really want to do long distance. I mean, now that I have my bagger, I'm not looking at the Sportster as my traveling bike. When it was my only bike, I would do some traveling, but I wouldn't do as much as what I'm doing now. I mean, I did a lot of work to make this one comfortable for longer distance. Highway peg, suspension, seat, you know, a little bit bigger engine. And it made just traveling from here to Daytona, which is 500 miles for me, a lot more easier. Or a lot easier, you know. Dear Lord, if I can actually get out of this traffic. You know, the Sportster has not been the primary bike that Harley would do something to. I mean, 04, they went rubber mounted. Well, they were already doing some rubber mounted bikes, you know. The FXR, they had some rubber mounted stuff on them, or their engine was rubber mounted. Let's get that clear. And then by 07, they went to fuel injected. Well, they had already started doing fuel injection on the bigger bikes. So, yeah, I would say the Sportster was like the redheaded stepchild, you know. Don't get me wrong, I love my Sportster. Would I ever get rid of my Sportster? No. Definitely with all I've done to it. You know, this bike is fun just to ride around town. Now, when I went to pick out my Sportster, I wanted the 883. I wanted it for the gearing. Not that I was going to keep it as an 883 for years to come. I wanted to do a 1200, and then when I found out about a 1275 kit, I was like, let's do it. Let's put it in there. Let's make this thing bad. And it truly is. I mean, this thing is just wicked fast. I mean, you're talking about a light frame. It's kind of sad to see that the evos Sportster go away. I mean, I love them. They're not for everybody, though. They're really not. I mean, take a tall person. They fit a whole lot better on Dyna than they will a Sportster. I mean, even with highway pegs, forward controls, you're only reaching so far out. And some consider it a girl's bike. I've never considered the Sportster a girl's bike for a few reasons. I mean, now I think it's 07, if I'm not mistaken on this, they actually went and started lowering the Sportster for females, you know, because it is a top heavy bike. I mean, when I got this one, it had 12-inch shocks. Now, it's nowhere near as wide as a bagger, but it was top heavy and tall, just the way it sat. And a lot of that is because of how short a frame and the position of the shocks. So they wanted it more appealing to women to ride. So that's kind of why they did that. Especially getting into how many things you can do to a Sportster, like the engine from an 83 to 1200 and cams and all that. Well, you don't have all those options with the newer Sportsters. you basically have an air cleaner and a pipe. Now, I mean, you got handlebar suspension, all that you can do to it, but not so much internal. And a lot of it has to do with the variable cam, because you got different ride modes. I don't have no different ride modes on this thing. It is just twist the throttle, change the gears. That's it.
Throttle down!
On the newer ones, yeah, you got rain mode, snow, sport mode, and daily rider mode. And that adjusts how much power to the rear tire. And this one being carbureted, it's not as dialed in as a fuel injected bike. Now, I've done some work to it, you know, adjust the jets on it, but you just don't have as many options engine wise as you do the evos. At least he ain't honking his horn. Dear Lord, trains will scare the crap out of me when they blow their horn and you're right next to them, especially being on the bike. But anyway, getting back to what we're talking about. Not only that, but I love the sound of an Evo. Definitely in the FXR, the Springer, the Sportster, the way it sounds is just amazing to me. It has that, what I consider the iconic Harley sound. Has always been that Evo. I mean, I might be wrong. People might have their different opinion. You know, and if you never rode an Evo, that's fine, you know, or heard one. Don't go out on YouTube trying to listen to an Evo Sportster. I mean saying any Evo. You need to hear one in person, because the sound just won't be there, or actually the quality of sound won't be there. I mean, it's like pictures. I mean, sometimes when you take a picture of a bike that looks really, really good, and it just doesn't capture the beauty of that bike, it's kind of the same thing, in my opinion. I mean, am I wrong? I don't know, it's just my opinion. You guys leave in the comments down below. Now, just recently, I actually got to ride the new Nightster. And let me tell you, if you haven't watched the video, go check it out. I'll leave it in a link in the description below. Whew. Shoot, I'm losing my train of thought here, guys. Getting bounced a little bit. But it was a real fun bike to ride. It was quick. See, when I give this one throttle, I can feel all that damn torque. You can hear it just raise up, and it sounds good. Well, riding that one, I didn't feel it squat. I didn't feel that torque that I'm so used to. I felt more, hey, just whoo, go. I mean, it's got, if I have to look back, but right around, I think, 90 horsepower. Shoot. The Evo off the showroom floor was not nearly 90. You had to do some work to them to even get them close to 90. But I'm actually glad they did come out with the Nightster. It has that more iconic look of the Sportster has. I was not a big fan of the look of the Sportster S, still not. You know, I like how much horsepower and torque's behind it, but that's not everything to me. You know, yeah, I like horsepower and torque, but I like cosmetic as well. You know, that's one reason the Harleys appeal to me so much, because I look at it as a piece of art. What can I do to it? I got the sheet metal, I got the headlights, I got everything as a canvas. And no, I can't paint for crap. You want me to draw stick figures for you? Okay, I can do that. But when it comes to a motorcycle, I see art. I like seeing what people do. So the Sportster S, I just didn't see that. You know, I didn't see my mind going, oh, what could I turn this bike into? The new Nightster, yeah, I kind of saw a little bit. You know, there'd be a good bit of changes I'd have to do that bike. So it's going to be interesting to see what parts come out in the several next years for those two bikes. But right now, if you want a new Evo Sportster, you better head to the Harley dealership and pick one up. Not to say that you can't find a used one, because again, they've been making Sportsters for a while. Now, if you're looking for more an Ironhead Sportster, yeah, you're going to have to be searching. But for an Evo Sportster, they've been made so many years, it wouldn't be hard to find a used one at all. It really wouldn't be. And I don't see them being like the FXRs later down the years of a hard item to find. You know, people I've talked to that sold their FXRs hate they did so. I'm like, man, I should have showed that bike. I should have kept on it. But to which their own. And the price has gone up on them, you know. I mean, you go looking for a older motorcycle, definitely like around the FXRs. I mean, people have started making parts for them again, like replica FXR RT fairings. But I don't see the Sportster being like that. One, you're going to be able to find parts for them for a long time. But after so many years, it's going to be hard to get parts at Harley for them, OEM parts. It's like the FXRs. But actually finding one, I don't see it being hard. Dang, I better take a right, because it looks like a parade up here. Whew. Dear Lord, yep, I'm going to take a right here, or try to, or something. Just so I don't get in all that traffic. Plus, I really don't want to get stopped, because this one ain't water cooled, it's air cooled. Luckily, you know, it's not a hot day out here. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content, and I hope you have a good one. And I'll see you next time.